Hello and welcome to Politics Today. I'm Farrukh Pitafi. Viewers, today was quite a busy day. One important thing is the President of Pakistan addressed the joint session of the Parliament. This actually commemorates the start of fourth parliamentary year. The President of Pakistan, while speaking, pointed out that despite all the cynicism of the media or other parts of the society or opposition, the country is moving in the right direction. He cited economy, especially the economic aspects which survived, not only survived, but also were boisterous against the tide of COVID-19. And that is not all. He also complimented the government on chalking out a strategy to wade through the storm of COVID-19. Then he pointed out about the regional, various regional developments, particularly Afghanistan. Once again, he pointed out that the Prime Minister of Pakistan has been, for the past 20 years, really constantly actually pointing out that war is no solution to Afghanistan. And he says that the Prime Minister's position is vindicated on that. He set various targets also. He pointed out that population control is something which is very important to him. Then there was also the matter of women's rights. He pointed out that this government has introduced many bills to support women's rights, especially their inheritance, their right to inheritance that hasn't been given to this country, contrary to the spirit of Islam and also the Constitution. We are going to, in the first segment, we are going to talk about the President's address to the joint session. And let me also point out, while he was actually addressing the Parliament, there were protests from the opposition party and then a walkout as well. And there were moments when it felt that media might also be, going in the same direction. We are going to talk about all these matters and more. In order to help us understand these issues, Ahmed Jawad Saab, Central Secretary Information of ruling party Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, joins us. Thank you very much, sir, for being part of the program. On Skype, I'm joined by Ali Rashid, who is a young leader of Pakistan People's Party. I'm told that we will be joined by a representative of PMLN. The moment they do, I'm going to introduce them as well. But let me start with Ahmed Jawad Saab. Ahmed Jawad Saab, what in your opinion were the most important points that were highlighted today?
Farrukh, the presidential address to the joint session of Parliament is always very significant with respect to the policy of the government, about the performance of the government and about the direction of the government, about the foreign policy of the government, the solidarity and peace in the region, and the economic situation, other challenges which the country is facing. So President kind of gives a brief not only to the joint session of the Parliament, it's like briefing the nation about the overall direction and status of the country with respect to different segments and different achievements and accomplishments of the government.
You're right.
And Dr. Arif Alvi, he's a very knowledgeable, very well-read person, and it is always a treat to listen to him. And he very comprehensively today summarized the achievements of the government, especially on the front of economy, on the foreign policy, handling COVID, and I mean the projects like SARS program. So he mentioned all of them, poverty alleviation, and then he also talked about Afghanistan. And he commended the role of the government, how they started 3 years ago. The country was in a very bad shape, and today all the economic indicators they are highlighting the right direction of the government and a better future for the country.
Right. You have given me a lot to unpack here, and I'm going to actually first take the opposition's point of view, and then I'm going to come back to you for more feedback or input on what they are saying also. Dr. Nisar Ahmed Cheema, MNA of Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz, also joins us on telephone. Dr. Saab, thank you very much for your time. Let me start with you. Dr. Nisar Cheema, today, the President of Pakistan was addressing the joint session of the Parliament. The President of Pakistan is not merely from a party, he came from a party, but right now he is head of the state. Why do you think your party felt the compulsion to walk out? And if you want to comment on his speech as well, please go ahead.
As you know, in the parliamentary form of government, President is a fatherly figure, and his presidential address to the parliament, of course, is very significant. And he not only gives an objective analysis of the performance of the government, but he also put forward some guidelines. He gives to the parliament the guidelines, the guiding principles to improve the performance as a whole. But unfortunately, for the last 4 years, we have seen Dr. Arif Alvi reading these speeches written by some bureaucrats, some section officers, and which nothing. These speeches are nothing but simple appreciation, unnecessary appreciation, and exaggerated admiration of the performance of the government. You know, he has not at all touched the major issues which are being faced by the people of Pakistan, the common man of Pakistan. You know, he has not touched even, not only he failed to highlight the major issues of inflation and unemployment, bad governance, which of course the common man is facing at the moment. He didn't touch even these principles. These issues.
But Cheema Sahab, you came when you entered, your party actually entered the parliament, you brought in placards and you actually started protesting from the very start of the speech. Did you know what he is going to say, or you were just there to protest, and no matter what he would have said, you would have walked out?
Unfortunately, Dr. Arif Alvi has a track record of such speeches. You know, we knew what he was going to say. I mean, he's in the habit of giving such speeches which are nothing but simple admiration and appreciation of the government.
No,
And
did you listen to the speech, sir?
He has never put forward any objective analysis of the performance of the government. Never given any guidelines to improve the performance of the government.
Okay, right. Allow me to go to our third guest, Ali Rashid Saab. Your party also, it actually believes in parliamentary democracy. It claims to actually have contributed a lot to Pakistan's constitutional history. Was it not advisable for the party to actually sit down quietly and listen to the speech of the head of state? And then you could have come up with a counter speech if you wanted, but it was very important speech. Foreign dignitaries were there. The world was watching. Why do you think you felt the compulsion to protest and then walk out?
Yeah, A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'd like to shed some light on what exactly happened. Basically, what happens is that when the session is about to start, prior to that, the agenda of the session is made. And according to the rules of Parliament, after the speech, there's a debate on the speech. So that was not included, and they were saying the speaker had wrongly said that there won't be a debate on it as yet. So all the opposition parties were protesting that. So it was not the fact that, like my learned friend from PMLN said, that he preempted that the speech would consist of etc., and that's why we went and we were unhappy. We were unhappy because we were not going to be allowed to debate of whatever points the Mr. Arif Alvi was going to give in a speech, regardless of what it was, right or wrong. We wanted to talk about it. It is our right, and that's what the rules were. So it was in the violation of the rules, hence the protests and the placards and etc. etc. Yeah. For your
Right.
first point, then I would like to
No,
move on. Okay.
I understand that, but there could be a token protest and then you could have participated, but that didn't happen. You walked out then. Your party, entire party, actually the entire opposition did.
We thought that once we do protest and when we show that the entire opposition is against it, we didn't want to walk out. You see, the thing is, we were thinking that maybe if we highlight the point that this is actually against the rules of Parliament and this is against the rule of business, we thought the Speaker would take it. After that, he would allow us to, okay, he would change things, but that didn't happen. That we were left no choice but to walk out then.
Okay. Would you care to comment on the merits of the speech as well? Because it seemed to be quite balanced speech. I mean, you can say that, various aspects, you can disagree with them, but I don't think that the president was speaking against anyone in particular in today's speech.
Well, I beg to differ. I would like to add here, he started his speech by saying that how well the stock market is performing. I don't know if he has been informed that our stock exchange has been downgraded from emerging markets to frontier markets just last week, which has caused a lot of problems. So how is the stock market performing, according to him, is beyond me, firstly. Secondly, he was talking about how well we've handled the COVID and the economy. He should be told that in the region, our growth rate is the lowest compared to India, Bangladesh, Afghanistan. So how does the economy, in comparison to handling the COVID, how did we do the best job in the world, according to his speech?
Ali Rashid sir, again, you're proving my point. You can disagree with whatever he was saying, but it was not as if the president was being partisan or attacking other parties. He wasn't. Let me come back to the studio. Let me ask Ahmed Jawad Saab. Ahmed Jawad Saab, you have listened to the both our participants, and it seems that they believe that they were not given the kind of space to respond to or comment on the president's speech. Usually in parliamentary democracy, these speeches offer time to the opposition and parliamentarians where they can comment. Please go ahead.
First of all, very rightly you pointed out that without listening to the speech, if the opposition has started with protests and displaying posters and creating a kind of a chaos in the parliament, and when especially the foreign dignitaries are also sitting there, I think after that, President still kept his cool, and as you also mentioned, he made a very balanced speech, and all he was talking about statistics which was not any ministry-made statistics. These are the statistics which are collected from international forums also. These are collected from Pakistani institutions also, which are based on solid information, which is part of the Pakistani government information under any rule. It's not that it's the first time that we are talking about GDP or we are talking about foreign remittance and the stock exchange or
no, but Ali Rashid actually brought up very interesting point. President is talking about how stock market is performing well. It might be because even today it closed in a rally, but with due respect, it has been downgraded by certain international bodies.
Farrukh, if you recall, due to COVID, our stock market even touched like 29,000.
Yeah, it went very.
And today it is 42,000 plus, I think.
Yeah.
And for the last 2 years, it has shown a very stable and steady rise to the present position. So that is also one statistics available. And again, it is not coming from PTI, it is the stock exchange status in last 2 years.
And so
how,
is
how
dollar-
it recovered and how it rose and how it
so does
stabilized.
the dollar also keep on appreciating?
Yes, dollar, it went down to 150 and it came back to 168, and I think the situation in Afghanistan has a lot to contribute into this. You know the dynamics of dollar market, which are not all which are controlled officially in Pakistan. There are other many parallel transactions and parallel purchase.
Right.
So especially the situation in Afghanistan, it did have an impact on the dollar rise in the recent
Right.
weeks
So
and months.
you think that the president, whatever remarks he made, you agree with them, right? You fully support them. Or they
Supporting
are-
what?
His point of view, his speech.
Of course,
Yeah.
the president. I mean, what I'm
You are
saying
endorsing it. I just
that
wanted to bring
he
it on.
did not say anything which is not available as a statistics from the institutions, whether these are the national institutions or the international institutions. He did not fabricate any fact.
Right. Dr. Nisar Chima, we have asked you about the reason why your party chose to walk out. Let me also ask you to comment on the merits of today's speech. Dr. Chima.
Wadafi Sahab, in fact, the president has unfortunately assumed the role of a spokesman of the government. I mean, he didn't behave like the president of Pakistan. He has assumed, as I said, the role of a spokesman of the government. And as I said earlier, his speech was nothing but simple admiration and appreciation of the performance of the government. Unnecessary appreciation. And you will not find any sort of objective analysis in his speech, any sort of guiding principles for the government to improve its performance. Nothing. That's right.
No,
I mean,
actually,
very
Dr.
disappointing, very
Chima,
disappointing.
your party has been in government many a times, and there have been more than 3 presidents that you have worked with, actually more than that. Can you qualify this difference that you are pointing out with an example from your own president that you might have elected? I mean, yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Every president of Pakistan, anybody who has the honor to be the president of this country, his role must be a fatherly, as a fatherly figure. He should come up with objective analysis whenever he finds some time to address the parliament, the public representative. He must come up with objective analysis of the performance of the government, and he should lay down some guiding principles. He should come up with guidelines to improve the performance of the government. Anybody who failed to do that, I mean, there's no justification for that.
Okay. But I just wanted to know about any example. Late Mamnoon Hussain Sahab used to give a speech that was accused of being partisan. Rafiq Tadar Sahab also. Before that, Farrukh Lehari, there was some kind of skirmish between your party and Farrukh Lehari Sahab. But we saw that in most of the time speeches were more or less the same. But today there was also setting of a direction. FATF was mentioned. Population control was mentioned. There were many other aspects. Did your party even pay attention to what he was saying, sir?
Pitafi Sahab, if any president of the past failed to do his duty in the best possible way, as I mentioned, if he failed to come up with objective analysis of the performance of that time, and he failed to lay down some guiding principles, I mean, this is not something which can be justified, which can be appreciated, and which should be followed now.
Right. Do stay with us. Let me first go to Ali Rashid Sahab, and then we have to take a break. Ali Rashid Sahab, if you want to contribute to what was said, please go ahead. Then I have to take a break.
Well, I would like to agree with the previous speaker that it was more of a scripted speech which was given to Mr. Alvi to just read out, which was mentioning
A scripted speech, you say, because it felt that he was speaking extempore. There were times when he actually deviated from any kind of text. He started quoting Quran as well. It was not part of the speech.
No, well, extempore, I'm sure he spoke, but the points which he was supposed to say were probably given to him earlier, what he's supposed to say regarding the achievements of, the PTI, which I understand previously him being a MNA from PTI, that was expected, but it wasn't impartial from anywhere. He's supposed to be a symbol of the federation, and he was not supposed to side with any party, but it seemed like more of a PTIama Nama, where he was just going on about the good achievements of the government, which were also flawed, and some of the numbers which he quoted, which I don't agree with personally, as I mentioned, the stock exchange, inflation, dollar rate, etc. Those topics weren't touched.
Again, I want you to cite any example from the presidents that you elected who might have done as critical a speech as you are demanding from the current one.
Well, okay. Well, good question. I'll have to think about that. I'll get back to you on that one.
Right. You think about it, sir. We have to actually take a break, and then we will enter the second segment, and we are going to talk about the new elections that took place after 8 years in the cantonment boards. We have to take a break. When we come back, we are going to shift gears and focus on the electoral politics. Take a break.
Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf has emerged as the leading political party in Cantonment Board election 2021. According to the unconfirmed and unofficial results cited, PTI secured 64 seats while PMLN was on number 2 after winning 59 seats. Independent candidates claimed 48 seats. On the other hand, Pakistan People's Party managed only 17 seats, followed by MQM with 10. Jamaat-e-Islami won 5 seats. Balochistan Awami Party got 3 seats, while ANP secured 2 seats. The polling was carried out for election on 206 general seats in as many wards of 39 cantonment boards across the country. There are 219 wards in 42 cantonment boards all over the country, but no polling was scheduled in 13 wards where either the candidates were elected unopposed or polling was postponed. A total of 1,513 candidates contested the polls to win general member seats in 206 wards of the cantonment boards. The PTI fielded the highest number of 178 candidates in all the 4 provinces. Meanwhile, PTI's leader and Information Minister Fawad Chaudhry said that the results of the cantonment polls proved that PTI is the only party that enjoys support across the country and in every constituency. The recent polls show that the opposition has lost what little standing it had left, and it has been badly defeated. Since all parties contested individually, the outcome will provide them a fair barometer to monitor the popular mood and prepare accordingly for the next general elections scheduled to be held in 2023.
Right. So you have seen the report. The elections were held in 219 wards of 42 cantonment boards. There are a few very important caveats that apply here. The first one is with the exception perhaps of 2 cantonment boards, most of these cantonment boards are all urban. So usually it is thought that the cities consolidate the annual results. That is very important to remember. The general election results might reflect here as well. But there are other developments. For example, PTI, while it did really well across the country, it seems that in Punjab, PMLN also held to its position. And while PMLN was doing this, in Sindh and in Balochistan, there was no visibility of PMLN. Simultaneously, when you talk about People's Party in the province where it has a government, it actually performed well. But when it comes to the other provinces, including Punjab, which is a must-win place if you want to form the future government, we didn't see that kind of performance. So what exactly is going on? There are various parties which totally actually failed to open an account. Maulana Fazlur Rahman must be wondering what exactly happened. So we are going to talk about this result as well. Let me ask Ahmed Jawad Saab, how important are these elections? Do they reflect any national trend?
Why not? Farrukh, if we see there is a continuity from 2018 elections, then Gilgit-Baltistan election, then Azad Jammu Kashmir election, then very recently Sialkot by-elections, then Cantonment board elections. If you see there is a continuity, and it time and again it endorses the public opinion which was seen in 2018 election. It has been repeated at different stages, like I explained you. So it is very significant that the narrative of opposition that PTI government or PTI is losing popularity, but every election which is coming on the way, it is proving opposite to that. And the second most important thing, Farrukh, it is that PTI has now emerged as the only political party in the country which has representation in all provinces of Pakistan.
Right.
On the contrary,
But sorry to cut you. Is it not true of any party that holds sway at the center? When People's Party was at the center, it had representation in all 4 provinces. When PMLN was there, it also had it. And so is the case.
not exactly. I mean, we have seen Pakistan People's Party having a good presence, whether in opposition or in the government in Punjab and KPK also, and even Gilgit-Baltistan, Azad Jammu Kashmir. But now, if you look at these results, People's Party was wiped out from Punjab. Not, I think, even a single seat they could win. So it reflects something. Then you see People's Party is looking like now a political party of representing a province, and that is Sindh. And even in Karachi, they have to share it with the PTI. On this other hand, Pakistan Muslim League Noon is getting eliminated in other provinces and only maintaining its popularity or representation in Punjab. So both these major parties who used to be representing the whole countries, now they are representing one province. On the other hand, PTI has now repeatedly, like I mentioned, Gilgit-Baltistan, Azad Jammu Kashmir, by-election, Cantonment board elections, and starting from general election. So it is constantly reminding us that PTI is now a national party having representation all over the country.
It is a national party, but has it been able to dislodge PMLN from Punjab, or for that matter, People's Party from Sindh?
Yes, in Sindh, I mean, we have been able to maintain what we gained in 2018 general elections in Karachi. And even today, when Pakistan People's Party had this very big claim after winning the Faisal Wada seat that PTI has lost its popularity in Karachi. But on the other hand, the results show something else. In Karachi, PTI is still maintaining its popularity.
Right. Let me go to the other 2 guests. There's one thing that I also I wanted to point out, but it is not a question. It is merely the fact that there was hardly any nomination of women throughout these elections, and that is a bad trend. But let me go to Dr. Nisar Ahmed Cheema Sahab. Nisar Cheema Sahab, while your party might have done considerably well in Punjab, what happened to its representation in Sindh, Balochistan, for that matter, sir? Dr. Chima, are you with me? Right. Let us try to get him back. Ali Rashid Saab, your Bilawal Bhutto Zardari was in Punjab. He was in southern Punjab only a few days ago. You haven't been able to even open an account in Punjab. Why? What happened, sir?
I think opening an account takes time, right? But a lot of background checks, especially with politically exposed persons opening a bank account on a lighter note.
Takes time.
But that
How
being
old is
said-
your party, sir?
No.
Oldest
That was on a lighter note. I'm saying, as you rightly pointed, that our chairman was in Punjab recently. He just got there. So we're starting to make inroads there. And obviously, when you start working, the labor of your work, the fruits of your labor, they take time. And inshallah, in the coming elections, you'll see we'll be able to make a dent in Punjab also. But that being said, if you watched Peshawar, we were able to win a few seats from Peshawar. And not only win a few seats, People's Party took the highest number of votes in Peshawar. If you count all the votes together in Peshawar, People's Party was the party with the highest number of votes. Similarly, in Karachi, as you were saying that PTI was able to hold their ground, I would like to disagree here. Karachi Clifton Cantonment Board, which is DHA, and Clifton, which is a stronghold of PTI, and it always has been, even prior to these 2018 elections. In 2013, they won from here. This is the first time PTI has actually lost, and People's Party has won more wards in Clifton Cantonment Board than PTI has. So, and if you look at Karachi, in the outlook of Karachi, People's Party has gotten the most votes, more than PTI. People's Party is number one, PTI is number two, Jamaat-e-Islami is number two, and MQM is nowhere to be seen. So that being said, that our graph is going up. We are in a better position than we were in the last election. So things look good for us. We're quite satisfied.
Your graph is going up, but mainly in the province that you
Also
already
Peshawar.
hold.
And also
Peshawar
Karachi.
might be an
Karachi, which is
exception,
not ours.
but
And also
with your
Karachi, which is
permission,
not ours.
I'm told that Dr. Nisar Chima has joined us again. Dr. Nisar Chima, why is it that your party, which used to claim to be a national force, while it has performed fine in Punjab, it doesn't seem to be having an impact in other provinces, especially nothing in Sindh, nothing in Balochistan? Why is it, sir?
Well, first of all, Pitafi sir, let me put it on record that it is for the first time in the history of Pakistan that the ruling party has been defeated in the local bodies election. It is for the first time in the history of Pakistan.
How?
You know, Punjab, you know, PT is ruling Punjab, PT is ruling at the federal level, but the PT has been clearly defeated in the province of Punjab, where PMLN has a clear majority, you know, and it reflects the sense of disliking for the performance of the PT government in the hearts and minds of the people of Punjab. And, you know, they have rejected the policies of PTI government, their leadership, their team, and everything, their policies. And, you know, the mandate, the people's mandate, which was stolen in 2018 elections, has been clearly regained by the people of Punjab, at least in the cantonment board elections.
Right. So there is one thing clear, and that is you are telling us that you have confidence in this election. Is it not true?
Of course, there was no illegal and unconstitutional interference in this election.
Good. Now tell me what happened to
we
your party in Sindh and Balochistan.
That if the same sense, better sense prevails, and there is no any illegal interference in the general elections, the results will be the same. There will be no difference in the results in the general elections.
The results will be the same also in Sindh and Balochistan, sir?
Well, I mean, I know. I mean, about the Punjab elections and their results. I can't say anything about the elections, the cantonment boards of the other provinces. but I have not heard any illegal interference from anywhere,
right.
and I hope that the same sense prevails in the general elections to be held in 2023.
All right. At least that gives us an idea that there might be consensus developing that elections are now fair and free. Very quickly, Ahmed Jawad Sahab, two places where you actually had a lot of cloud and you have governments, you lost there. Pindi, Peshawar. Are they huge setbacks to you?
For any failure, even if it is a partial failure, it must be investigated, it must be studied, and we should look for those gray areas that we lost something. So I'm not really proud of the fact that we have lost in some strongholds like Rawalpindi or
Peshawar also,
and in Punjab we had a tough competition with PMLN.
Yeah.
So I think we will have to look at our selection process of candidates. Might be we have to see if there is any disconnect between the public representatives and the public in those areas. So I think this gives a hint that we need to improve in these areas. I wouldn't shy from accepting that we lost here and these were our strongholds. But on the other hand, we must also look up to the brighter fact that the PTI has been able to maintain its lead over other political parties all over Pakistan.
All over the Pakistan, but in local elections, and these local elections actually reflect more on the provincial government than the federal government.
Yeah.
But I get your point. I'm told that we have to conclude the program here. Ahmed Jawad Sahab, thank you very much for your precious time. Dr. Nisar Ahmed Cheema Sahab, thank you very much for joining us throughout the program. Ali Rashid Sahab, thank you very much as well. We still have to see many elections, and we still can say that this might show some kind of indication of the national trend. But whether it reflects on 2018 elections or it reflects on 2023 elections, that is still to be seen. This was today's program. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.